Hello, welcome to Axiom Flux News. Today's date's the 19th of January 2015, and you're listening to PJ. I'm going to bring you some reports on today's news, so do stay tuned for the news coming shortly. A little bit behind today, but we will get there. Okay, I'm just going to touch on this little bit of breaking news. Coronation Street actress and Kirkbride has passed away at the age of 60 after a short illness in Manchester Hospital. Deirdre Barlow, unique and unforgettable character, as the ITV has said. And Kirkbride created a unique and unforgettable character in Deirdre Barlow's ITV director of television has said. Paying tribute to one, Peter Fincham said, Anna has been a truly loyal servant to Coronation Street since joining the programme in the early 1970s. She created a unique and unforgettable character in Deirdre Barlow, and she'll be greatly missed on and off screen. Our sincerest condolences to Anne's husband David and her family at this very sad time. There's the image of William Roach, also known as Ken Barlow, and Kirkbride, and also known as Deirdre Barlow in the middle, and the one on the far right here is Mike Baldwin, also known as Johnny Biggs. Few words from William Roach, who played Anne Kirkbride's on-screen husband Ken Barlow, has said the soap has lost one of its iconic characters. In a statement he said, I feel Anne's loss so personally, having worked closely with her for over 40 years. Colleagues of Anne Kirkbridge, sorry. Been calling her Kirkbride and her name's Kirkbridge apparently. Do apologise for that, maybe this is a typo, I'm not too sure. Kieran Roberts, executive producer, said, there are no words to describe the sense of grief we feel at Anne's passing. We know only too acutely how much Anne meant to the millions of people who watched her create the legendary character of Deirdre Barlow. Anne was suffering in the 90s, 1993, from Hodgkin's lymphoma, and then she was also battling depression for quite some time. There was rumours that she'd left Coronation Street, but I believe she was taking a break, and I think there was plans for her to return for a short while. But sadly, for those that know what Coronation Street is around the world, you'd not struggle to recognise this character off the TV show. Anyway, moving on to my next article, I'm going to bring you to Cameron backs Pickles' letter to Muslim leaders. Prime Minister says it is right to call on Muslims to help deal with radicalisation, but Islamic leaders object to being singled out. So what's this all about? Well, today around the mainstream, the article that I'm going to be taking is one of Guardian's. There's a short video here, so I'll go ahead and play this video and then move into the to what the article talks about.
Let me deal very specifically with this letter from Eric Pickles and to mosques around our country. I think it's absolutely right to write this letter, to say that we all have a responsibility to fight extremism. And anyone who reads this letter, and I've read the letter, will see that what he's saying is that British Muslims make a great contribution to our country, that what is happening in terms of extremist terror has nothing to do with the true religion of Islam. It's being perverted by a minority who have been radicalized. But everyone needs to help with dealing with this problem of radicalization. And anyone, frankly, reading this letter who has a problem with it, I think really has a problem, because I think it's the most reasonable, sensible, moderate letter that Eric could possibly have written. And frankly, all of us have a responsibility to try and confront this radicalization and make sure that we stop young people being drawn into this poisonous, fanatical death cult that a very small minority of people have created.
Yeah, so from last week, David Cameron disagreeing with the Pope's comments while the Pope was visiting the Philippines, and today we have him agreeing with Eric Pickles in a letter that he sent to Islamic leaders, more than 1,000 Islamic leaders. You can actually, I believe, read a bit of the article. This is the article, the letter. Assalamu alaikum. We have recently seen terrible atrocities committed in Paris. Finding the right response to these events is a challenge for everyone. The hijacking of a great faith to justify such heinous crimes sickens us all. As Muslims around the world have made clear, such actions are an affront to Islam. And yet, amid the carnage came a sign of hope. Over 3 million people of all backgrounds marching to defeat the gunmen and to protect our values: free speech, the rule of law, and democracy. We are proud of the reaction of British communities to this attack. Muslims from across the country have spoken out to say, "Not in our name." But there is more work to do. We must show our young people, who may be targeted, that extremists have nothing to offer them. We must show that there are other ways to express disagreement, that their right to do so is dependent on the very freedoms that extremists seek to destroy. We must show them the multitude of statements of condemnation from British Muslims. Show them these men of hate have no place in our mosques or any place of worship, and what they do not speak for Muslims or in Britain or anywhere in the world. Let us assure you that the government will do all we can to defeat the voices of division, but ultimately the challenges of integration and radicalization cannot be solved from Whitehall alone. Strong community-based leadership at a local level is needed. And in this box here, there's 3 ways you can help. Number 1, email us about the work you are doing to promote the positive image of British Islam. Number 2, visit the Lawworks website. If you need legal advice to tackle extremists, they may be able to help. Number 3, report anti-Muslim hatred to the police online. US faith leaders are in a unique position in our society. You have a precious opportunity and an important responsibility in explaining and demonstrating how faith in Islam can be part of British identity. We believe together we have an opportunity to demonstrate the true nature of British Islam today. There is a need to lay out more clearly than ever before what being a British Muslim means today. Proud of your faith and proud of your country. We know that acts of extremism are not representative of Islam, but we need to show what is. British values are Muslim values, like all faiths. Islam and its message of peace and unity makes our country a better and stronger place, and Britain would be diminished without its strong Muslim communities. Every day, mosques and other faith institutions across the country are providing help for those in need, and acting as a centre for our communities. It is these positive contributions that are the true messages of faith, and it is these contributions that need to be promoted. We would also like to reassure you that in recent days we have met with police chiefs to make sure they are providing the support that mosques need. A concern that some of you have expressed in our recent discussions. We have also met with the Anti-Muslim Hatred Working Group to hear their concerns about responses to the recent attacks and what more can be done. Anyone experiencing violence should report it to the police online on the True Vision website or the Tell Mama, a service to provide support specifically to Muslim victims of hatred. The vitriol espoused by the thugs of the English Defence League on Britain First is just as much an affront to British values as the teachings of preachers of hate. For organisations experiencing problems with such preachers, information about free legal advice is available from Lawworks at www.lawworks.org.uk/community groups, or the Bar Pro Bono Unit at barprobono.org.uk, and the Charity Commission has published a toolkit for charity leaders to help protect their organisations from abuse by extremists. Attached is a toolkit also available. We welcome your thoughts, ideas and initiatives on how to ensure that Islam's true message of peace triumphs over those who seek to divide our communities. Thank you for all the positive work you are doing, and we look forward to working with you further. We continue to appreciate all your insights. Please feel free to contact our team at integration@communities.gsi.gov.uk. We look forward to hearing from you. Eric Pickles. Also, Lord Tariq Ahmed of Wimbledon. So that's the gist of Mr. Pickles' letter to over 1,000 Muslim leaders. And I wonder what this person would think about it. This is, well, it's been dubbed, I think it's been dubbed David Thatcherin, or it could be Margaret, Margaret Camacha, I think the other one were.
Margaret Scameron.
Margaret Scameron, yeah, not forgetting that one. I've heard quite a few over the past few weeks. But anyway, moving on. This one's a report on Gary Glitter, previous name Paul Gadd. Apparently Glitter crept into Schoolgirl's bed, trial is told. The former glam rock star tried to rape an 8-year-old before giving her an Easter egg the next day. Just hide his face for a few minutes there. Gary Glitter crept into a schoolgirl's bed and tried to rape her, a jury has been told. The girl, who was 8, avoided the assault after hiding in sheets at the side of the bed until the glam rock star fell asleep. The allegations, which is said to have taken place at the height of Glitter's fame in the 1970s, was detailed as the prosecution opened its case against the 70-year-old at Southwark Crown Court. John Price QC said, "She only managed to prevent him from succeeding by moving away from him in the bed until she had moved so far." She remembers she fell into the envelope or cocoon formed at the edge of the bed by the fact that the covers and blankets had been tucked beneath the mattress. The court heard how the girl ran into the bathroom to wash herself once Glitter, real name Paul Gadd, fell asleep. The next day, Glitter from Marylebone in central London is claimed to have acted as if nothing had happened, giving the girl an Easter egg. He denies 7 counts of indecent assault, one count of attempted rape, and 2 other sexual offences. He followed proceedings with the help of lip-reading interpreters due to a hearing problem. Although the alleged victim confided in her mother and friends, it was 20 years before she went to police after seeing that Glitter had admitted child pornography charges. Jurors were told that in November 1997, Glitter, whose hits include "I'm the leader of the gang, I am," was arrested as he picked up a laptop he had handed in for servicing at a Bristol PC World. The engineer had discovered child pornography on the machine. Glitter is also accused of molesting 2 young fans he met while touring. One woman claims she was just 12 when Glitter plied her with champagne and then assaulted her after a 1977 concert in Leicester. She is said to have gone with her mother to Glitter's dressing room before they were both invited to his suite, the city's Holiday Inn. Mr. Price told jurors it was there, in his hotel bedroom, her mother having been taken elsewhere by someone else, that she says he subjected her to a prolonged episode of sexual abuse involving a full range of sexual activity, culminating in intercourse, prior to which he plied her with alcohol, champagne. The teen was subjected to a similar ordeal in a Birmingham hotel room when she was 13, jurors were told. Glitter's alleged 3rd victim was also attacked backstage in Watford when he is said to have touched her between the legs. The trial continues. Next article. Children tear-gassed after playground protest. Primary school pupils, some as young as 6, were trying to stop a politician from turning the playground into a car park.
This is its action. One back the playground and the Phoenix take back the playground.
There you go, a group of children protesting against the closure of their school playground have been tear-gassed by police in an act described as brutality beyond words. Television footage showed the primary school pupils, some as young as 6-year-old, writhing in pain as they were carried away from the scene. Others were seen screaming and choking because of the tear gas. At least 8 young people were hospitalised after 3 canisters of tear gas were fired into the crowd in Kenya, and the officers involved are facing disciplinary action. Land grabbing is terror against children. Kenya at 51. It's about our future. Could say something else, but it's a bit hard to see there. The students were demonstrating against a politician who had seized the land so he could build a car park for his nearby hotel. During their protest, the pupils dismantled the wall built around the playground, after which they were seen dancing and enjoying a spontaneous football match. This is brutality beyond words and greed beyond description, said opposition leader Eliud Owala. It is difficult to believe that police can actually deploy against primary school children and lob tear gas at them to defend a land grabber. This image of a nation determined to steal forcefully from its own children cannot be what we aspire to. It cannot be the legacy we want to bequeath to the children. A police spokesman has conceded the level of force used was not commensurate to the persons involved. And my last article, terrorism ruled out in AirAsia crash mystery. Recordings from the jet cockpit show no evidence of an explosion, threats or gunfire before the aircraft disappeared from radar. Indonesian investigators say it is unlikely an explosion caused the AirAsia jet to crash in the Java Sea last month. A total of 162 people died when the plane came down on 28th of December 2014, less than halfway into the 2-hour flight between the Indonesian city of Surabaya and Singapore. Investigators say they have ruled out terrorism after listening to cockpit voice recordings. The National Transportation Safety Committee said, "We didn't hear any sounds of gunfire or explosions. For the time being, we can't eliminate the possibility of terrorism. We didn't hear any voice of other persons other than the pilots." Another investigator, Andreas Hanantu, said they found no evidence of threat being made on board the Airbus A320-200. The recording indicates that the pilot was busy with the handling of the plane, he said. "It's unlikely there was an explosion. If there was, we would definitely know, because certain parameters would show it." Last week, an official from the National Search and Rescue Agency had suggested pressure could have caused the airliner to explode when it hit the sea. Indonesian authorities believe bad weather could be to blame for the disaster. Investigators from Indonesia, France, Singapore and China have listened to the whole cockpit voice recording, but only transcribed half of it. They hope to finish transcribing it by the end of the week. They refused to give more details about the final moments of the flight, which crashed around 40 minutes after takeoff. Analysis of the second black box, the flight data recorder, is expected to take longer because the aircraft's previous 72 flights will also be examined. A preliminary report into the crash is expected to be published next week, but it is thought the full report will take up to a year and will not include the entire cockpit voice transcript. So I'm just going to bring you that bit of news, you join your own dots and add it to what you've already learned, and I will be passing my articles over now and leaving you with a final video which is the Michael Tellinger's latest YouTube upload of the Ubuntu community hall, and he's done a walkthrough, so I thought I'd share you this and be put up today.
Okay, this is Michael Tellinger reporting to you from a rainy Watervalwerfen on the opening night of our community hall after months and months of work. I've arrived here about an hour before we start and before we launch, and I'm going to take you on a little walkthrough of what we've done, just to show you the fact that there are some images, just to show you the images of our colorful balloons just to show that something is really going on here. We're officially opening the community hall. It started drizzling now, so I'm going to walk behind the camera and talk you through going down the stairs into our brand new, revamped and refurbished community hall, of which we are so proud. I tell you, I was reduced to tears when I walked in here now. I went and had an afternoon's sleep because I was so exhausted. I was up at 4 in the morning doing interviews all over the world, and I had to sleep for an hour. I arrived here now, and I walked in and I nearly burst into tears. I'm so proud of what's happened here and what's going on. I don't even have words for it. So let me show you what we've done in the last 6 months. This was an open toilet. It was open to the public. People used to go in there and drink, urinate and defecate on the floor. See what we've turned it into. This is beautiful. This is Arno. Arno is the project manager here. He's one of our volunteers from Holland. We finally...
Hello everyone, and well, big welcome to the town hall, the community hall of Ubuntu.
Yeah, it's awesome. Arno, if it wasn't for Arno, we wouldn't be here today, I must tell you. He came in at just the right moment, took all the pressure and stress off me and took it onto himself. So this is our entrance. One of our local talents is in here singing and rehearsing. Hi guys. We'll see you guys on stage later. And let me walk you through our hall and what's happening. Taba, may I enter, sir? Jabu. Hi guys. This is Pete, he's from Finland. Some other volunteers here that we brought. Our kitchen staff for tonight. Hi guys. Say hello to the camera. One of our most stable and steady volunteers, Nelson, who is also actually a boxer. Nelson was a boxer that traveled the world, and he's one of the cornerstones of this community hall. He's one of the hardest workers that's really helped us make this possible. I'm just so amazed at what they've done with the tablecloths. Made the place look so beautiful. From a giant public toilet to a hall that can actually be called a community hall. These are some of the tabletops that we put out for what will become the you can look out over the bowling green. This will become the what you call an internet cafe, free Wi-Fi for the community. And our special star, our guest artist all the way from Johannesburg and Soweto is Ziki Mazwai. He's going through a rehearsal.
Oh, my brother was the song. Yeah, I wanted to do that stuff. Okay, stop.
Here's our petitions. Everyone that comes in will be signing a petition. Yes, Alta?
Yes, Mike, I bring more ice.
More ice. Okay, I'll go get you some ice. And so it goes. So I'm off on an errand to get some more ice. Okay, guys, I'll see you a bit later. I was just sent on an errand to get some ice. Okay. All right, so that's it. Just to let you know, in case you didn't know, that this was a giant public toilet. It was disgusting. There was nothing on stage. Everything was ripped out. There was no power, no electricity. As you could see, we even had to stage lights. So this is just an amazing achievement. Until next time, Michael Tellinger from the new UBUNTU Community Hall in Falklands. Have a good day.
Brilliant stuff. What would you say, guys? I think he's doing excellent work over there. Yeah, good to see.
Yeah,
you
quite.
shared that, PJ.
Say that again, Bok.
I heard he was really happy with stuff the other day down there.
Yeah, he says it brought him to tears.
Good stuff.
A bit of creative, you know, a get together, and it's amazing what you can achieve. I tell you, there's none of that stuff where I'm living, and it's all gone. They've got rid of it all.
Well, community hall.
Yeah, they've got rid of them all.
Well,
you've got to go out your way now to you know, find out where these places are.
Well, you've got to wonder why they've done that. The question must be, you know, asked really, why they would close down community halls, and I mean, what that guy's done there, out of his own head, out of his own idea, the UBUNTU movement, which I'm not up to date. You guys are more up to date with it than I have been. I must admit, I haven't checked up on it lately, but the actual idea of everything, contributionism, isn't it?
Yeah.
Absolutely brilliant, and you can only give the guy the most respect on what he's trying to do, and he's achieving it, so fantastic.
And on the opposite side, you know, the article in Kenya where there was defending the school land.
Ah, yes, that was in Kenya, was it?
Yeah, the complete opposite to what, you know, Michael Tellinger's out there doing.
Yeah, tear gassing the kids because they were closing the school down. Yeah.
Anyway, any more comments? Any more comments before I pass it on?
Just very briefly on the Eric Pickles letter, really. British Muslims, British culture, and so what he's saying is, now you look, basically, you can. Well, I don't know. Keep the Muslim faith as long as you do it the British way. I don't know. So awfully contentious, I think.
I'm struggling myself to work out exactly what the gist of that letter were. But
well, I think what he's saying is, you know, you can be a Muslim, but you've got to do it the way we say.
Did it also hint to getting them to show him what Muslims are all about, or in some length to that? Let me just see if I can.
It was a bit It was a bit not contradictory. What's the word for it?
It says here, we know that acts of extremism are not representative of Islam, but we need to show what is. Like, how many years have they let this go to to miss until 9, till Eric Pickles decides to get his pen on his paper and we'll sit at a computer and type it, or get his secretary to type it up, because I doubt he types it up, but you never know. But it took him all this time to send over 1,000 Islam leaders trying to get some representation of what Islam really is. I think that's it. That's a joke.
Huh. I think it's just you know, it's the way that they try and steer things. I think I don't know what to make of it really. I don't see what you know.
Yeah, it's just kind of like one feeds the other.
Yeah. Well, that's my personal opinion on it anyway.
Yeah.
Okay, so which one of you two are fighting for the Flux stage?
Me.
Would that be you, Andy?
That'd be me. Yeah, I've just got a couple of articles. If I
yeah, you can share your screen if you're ready.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep, got it.
Rightio. Just a couple of articles from me this evening. Top 1% richer than the rest of the world. The richest 1% of people will own more than the combined wealth of the other 99% by next year, unless staggering levels of inequality are tackled, Oxfam has warned. Political and business leaders gathering at the World Economic Forum in Davos later this week are set to be challenged over the issue of widening gap between the wealthiest and the rest. A research paper released by Oxfam suggests the richest 1% have seen their share of global assets rise from 44% in 2009 to 48% last year, with an average worth of $2.7 million, $1.8 million each. The wealth share of the richest 1% is on track to exceed 50% in 2016, charities said. Below the richest fifth, 80% of the world's population own just 5.5% of the wealth, an average of $3,851, that's £200,500, each, and the equivalent of 1/700th of the average wealth of the 1%. Oxfam said the very richest at the top 1% minus the 80 individuals at the top of the Forbes billionaires list have seen their total net wealth rise from $1.3 trillion in 2010 to $1.9 trillion last year. The report added the wealth of those 80 individuals is now the same as that owned by the bottom 50% of the global population, such that 3.5 billion share between them the same amount of wealth as that of these extremely wealthy 80 people. 80 people. 3.5 billion. Last year, 1,645 people were listed as billionaires, and Oxfam said the group is far from being globally representative. Almost 30% are US citizens, and more than 1 in 100 inherited some or all of their wealth, according to the report. Oxfam International Executive Director Winnie Byanyima said, "Do we really want to live in a world where the 1% own more than the rest of us combined? The scale of global inequality is quite simply staggering, and despite the issue shooting up the global agenda, the gap between the richest and the rest is widening fast." In the past 12 months, we've seen world leaders from President Obama to Christine Lagarde talk more about tackling extreme inequality, but we are still waiting for many of them to walk the walk. It is time our leaders took on the powerful vested interests that stand in the way of a fairer and more prosperous world. Business as usual for the elite isn't a cost-free option. Failure to tackle inequality will set the fight against the poverty back decades. The poor are hurt twice by rising inequality. They get a smaller share of the economic pie, and because extreme inequality hurts growth, there is less pie to be shared around. Mr. Byanyima will call on leaders gathered in Davos to adopt a 7-point plan to tackle inequality. Its measures include clamping down on tax dodging by corporations and rich individuals, investing in universal free public services such as health and education, introducing equal pay legislation and promoting economic policies to give women a fair deal, agreeing a global goal to tackle inequality. Well, let's not hold our breath, eh? When you consider they've almost doubled their wealth in the past 4 years, 4 or 5 years.
Yeah. Well, my thoughts, Andy, is no government yet has got a grip on tax dodging. I think Lib Dems want to do a push on mansion tax, which I can't see them getting. So people were saying on mainstream today when I only got to watch a bit of it, and they were saying we can't be blaming 1%, for everybody else suffering, and none of it made sense. They never put any solutions forth. It was just nonsense, really.
Well, yeah, I mean, it says our leaders have got to do this. Our leaders. Well, why would anybody want leaders like that? Obviously, it doesn't work, does it? Having leaders.
Well, it depends what you've got them leading. I mean, if you look at Michael Tellinger's case, I mean, you could pretty much say he's probably not, he won't class himself a leader of it, but, do you really have to be called a leader to do it?
Well, I think because it's Michael Tellinger's idea, after all, but contributionism is, to me, to have a leader of contributionism would defeat it, and I'm sure Michael Tellinger would turn around and say exactly.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but everybody would still see him as the leader, regardless.
They would. Yeah, I mean, years ago, North American Red Indians had elders, but they were there for advice, and they were asked for their advice. But it wasn't saying the elder says we've got to do this, so we must do it. It was advice. Then it was up to the chief or whatever to get with his braves and decide on what they're going to do. But no, that's all I'm saying about it already, because basically the system doesn't work. Only for the rich. I mean, you can see the results. The article gives you the results of the current system. The current system obviously works for these, the 1%. It obviously works perfectly, fantastically well, because there's the results.
Even the 0.1%.
80 people has the same wealth as 3.5 billion. That's half the world's population, or over half.
Yeah, well, I was talking about this yesterday, and we need to rethink in our strategy towards leadership, and we need to define it more towards we need more teachers, because what that does is it puts out more learned people out there.
Yes. Well,
and what Michael Tellinger is basically he's a teacher. He's setting up. And this is a first for everybody. He's trying this, in our day and age, he's trying this Ubuntu movement, and he's having success with it. And hopefully, it gets better and better. And this becomes like a role model, a standard where, you don't need a leader after that. You've got the standard set, and everyone can just follow this, these things and start for themselves.
Yeah, and that's why I think
you're teaching yourself as you go.
Yeah, and that's why I think contributionism is a fantastic word for it. It fits exactly what he's doing, because people will contribute more, because they can see it's for everybody, and everybody wants to benefit from each other's contribution, and you don't need somebody saying, well, wait a minute, you stop contributing, you start contributing more over there. That would, the whole idea, if you had a leader in that system, the whole idea of contributionism would break down instantly. It wouldn't last long. So you don't need leaders as in the sense people standing up and telling everybody individually what to do, which is what you've got in this system basically, right? But you can give advice. But I think once everybody gets the whole idea that everybody's pulling for everyone and it's a good thing in everyone's benefit, then you really don't need these dictators. That's what I call them. Dictators.
Careful now.
Yeah, dictators. I said it again. A dictator is somebody who tells somebody what to do or put down on a piece of paper.
Down with that sort of thing.
Yes, that's right. Anyway, moving on, just very, very briefly onto this. Amongst all the troubles that are kicking off with everything that's turned into absolute, apart from your last article, which is the little bright light in the dark, PJ, the contribution and the UBUNTU movement.
All the darkness within the light, whichever way you want to look at it.
Well, yeah. UK sends warships to Falklands as Argentina lease supersonic bombers from Russia. Look at that. Big dragon on the front. What's that mean? What's with the big dragon then? Oh, it's because it's called Dragon. Navy chiefs sent HMS Dragon, a Type 45 destroyer, to the South Atlantic after deployment in Chile. Last night, naval sources said the move was part of the MOD's effort to speed up the operational drumbeat by which the Navy keeps guard over the Falklands. With Argentina attempting to lease 12 supersonic bombers from Russia, the MOD is also to install a new £200 million air defence missile system in the islands. This will replace the aging Raytheon missile batteries which were used against the Argentine Air Force in 1982 Falklands War. However, it will take at least 5 years before the new system completes development trials and combat evaluations, leaving commanders with a capability gap during the remaining 8 months of Argentine President Christine de Kirchner's term in office. Ms. de Kirchner, who has repeatedly demanded sovereignty over the islands, has been negotiating with Russia's President Putin to lease 12 long-range Su-24 supersonic all-weather attack bombers. Such a deal would significantly enhance Argentina's air force. Whitehall expects Argentina's interest in the islands to wane in response to the drop in oil prices, but activists in the South American country remain committed to their campaign to claim the Falklands as their own. The issue of the islands was firmly off the table during David Cameron's otherwise successful 2 days of talks in Washington with President Barack Obama. I don't know what to look into that actually. I sort of brought it up as a second article, but are things about to kick off there to add to the turmoil in the war in the world? Or is it just, you know, this is all geopolitical, of course. It's like all of it. It's mostly geopolitical. And like the article says there about the price of oil going down and all the rest of it. Or was it always about oil? I mean, you know, was it about oil? I think if it was about oil, BP and the rest of them would have their rigs firmly in place by now, a long time ago. And they would be siphoning it off or wherever it is, or if it's there at all. I think it's more just sort of like geopolitical games with it all. Yeah, look at the dragon on the front there, PJ. The dragon. Can Buck tell us?
My unconscious mind, Ed, he said, Year of the Dragon in Chinese astrology was last year, I believe.
Uh-huh.
So they're a year late.
It could be. Could be.
Just joking.
No, but I mean, I've not seen that before. It's like war art, isn't it? Do you remember the World War II bombers? They all used to have like Memphis Belle, and the Americans had all these painted women on the nose of the bombers and all this business and stuff like that. So I guess it's some type of thing like that. Or is it the Welsh dragon? Perhaps it's might be something, I don't know. Perhaps somebody can leave a comment after this, but I don't think it's that important, but the article. But just wondering, anybody knows out there what they think if the Falklands conflict or dispute, call it what you like, is going to kick off again. I know Argentina was thinking about taking a loan, or was it Venezuela? From China, from the New World China Bank, so that might prove interesting. Anyway, that's it from me. Over to you, Bob, and I'll get off this screen share. I think you've got a couple of articles for us.
Yeah, thanks, Andy. Bring up. Bring up the screen. There we go. Is that coming up, guys?
Yeah, I think so. I've got a black screen again. So we might have a similar problem as we had the other day about, but never mind, we'll do the backup, yeah.
Nothing yet?
Nope, still a black screen at the minute. Let's get it go on the other one, yeah.
Want me to jump on the Skype? Oh,
Yeah.
hang on, I gotta log in.
Yeah, jump on that.
That's on my phone.
So, do you think this Ubuntu thing will spread? And do you think more people pick up on it and put it to the test?
Well, I hope so. Hello. Again. Well, I hope so, because I think, you know, oh, what's that? Why is that doing that, PJ?
He's not letting you on, is it? We've been on here, I'm gathering. So it's not going to let us multitask. With the looks of things.
You know what, PJ? I'll just save mine for tomorrow, man. You can just chop it there at the end of Andy's, I guess.
Alright, but no worries. Yeah, we will get that sorted for you anyway.
Not a big deal.
Cool, yeah. Alright, guys, thanks for tuning in. Do join us again tomorrow for some more Flux news. Until then, take care.